It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to Long Island. 'Cause nothing's better than a motion video.
It's Movie Time is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to broadcast shows Fridays at 4:01 and 8:01 p.m. Read reviews and listen to shows online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Mindy Mcfann.
And this is It's Movie Time.
Yes.
Now, Mindy, you know that I recently joined the United Church of Christ
Mm-hmm.
after a long period of being a Catholic boy.
Long bout.
Yep, including a Catholic altar boy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is hardcore. But the darn religion has always been a mystery to me.
Right.
There's way so many mysteries about it.
Right.
So finally we have a movie that is a mystery, but not a mystery.
Truth. Truth.
So it's called
The Conclave.
It's called The Conclave.
Yeah.
What the heck is a conclave?
That I knew. I knew that was that's the shutdown. The Pope shutdown. Pick a Pope shutdown.
All right. That's a good one. Pick a Pope. Yeah. I mean, the Pope dies. This is fictional.
Mm-hmm.
Pope dies.
Right.
These good old boy cardinals
Right.
have to sequester themselves
Yes.
to pick a new pope.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I would have thought with the imprimatur of the good Lord,
Uh-huh.
this would be an easy process.
I wouldn't have thought that because you put a bunch of men in a room.
These are holy men, the leaders of the Catholic Church.
Yes. That's not my impression so much of that religion or any religion. You know, you have people have struggles with their personal demons. Let's call it that.
You know, they are people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
And that's one of the mysteries of the many of the Catholic Church to me was the Pope speaking ex cathedra, I think they call it,
Right.
when he speaks of religious matters, he's guided by God.
Right. Right.
And so that's one of the things that I don't know. Anyway, I had difficulty with it, but in this case, in choosing the Pope, you figure God would want to be involved.
Yes, I just think everybody interprets what that looks like. That God is only involved with men, only involved with certain men and that kind of thing. So it's your interpretation, you know. I mean, we all, theoretically they're aspiring to be Jesus-like, but, nobody gets there.
Nobody does get there. All right, so we have, in the end, what is not necessarily a religious manifesto, but rather a story about the intricacies of that process of choosing a new pope.
Yeah.
Not a small matter.
Yeah, I wondered how they knew, like, what things looked like, or if that was made up, like, how would they know the Pope's apartment looked like, or the apartments they stay in. I don't know how public that stuff is, so.
Well, it's not, and as a matter of fact, the director, who is Edward Berger,
Mm-hmm.
they had created a chamber for them, because the original one, which people had seen, the one where they would stay, was too bland.
You mean the apartment, the hotel rooms basically they stayed in?
Where they
Okay.
stayed, which is now the place where apparently Pope Francis stays. So it's like a whole, I've got the name of it somewhere too, the Domus Sanctae Martae.
Right.
And it's compared with the Sistine Chapel and so on, it's pretty bland.
Right. I would think so. I mean, it should be.
Yeah, yes. So they did for the purposes of the film, they recreated it in a fashion that would make it more beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was still pretty stark.
Yeah.
Just giant marble tiles everywhere.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And it's tough to compete with the robes that these cardinals wear.
That's a lot of, I kept thinking of the weight of them,
I know.
you know, because they're so layered and
Yeah.
that they didn't trip. And I'm sure when they're making the movie, they tripped because they're not used to wearing long gowns.
It is pretty impressive, even the umbrella scene.
Oh, I loved that. It was beautiful. I mean, I know that's a pretty used shot with the over the umbrellas.
Yeah, right.
But I thought it was the umbrellas were white, and that one person didn't have an umbrella. I thought it was a really beautiful shot.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same shot as you might find in, say, Umbrellas of Cherbourg. I think it was a movie years ago.
Yeah, and then Hitchcock did it once, and then Road to Perdition did it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good one. Yeah. Yeah, that is beautiful. I mean, this is cinema after all.
Absolutely.
Not just kneeling and praying. It's people, live people, and in this case, chosen men,
Yep.
determining the future of their religion.
A lot of people.
Yeah, wow.
It's a lot of power.
Ralph Fiennes is the dean
Yes.
of these cardinals.
Yep.
And he's left with the job of corralling them.
Yeah, organizing everything.
Yeah. What do you think?
I thought he was wonderful. I mean, he's really good at being understated.
Yes.
And subtle, even when he's, you know, in Harry Potter world or wherever he is. There's just this undercurrent to him that I always find so mysterious.
Yes.
Like it's very layered, the way he plays characters, I think.
If you wanted somebody to play grave and serious, Rafe can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
And confused because he does have doubts. Now that really.
And I
struck me.
thought the doubts were interesting because his doubts were about prayer. It wasn't about God. It was about prayer.
Huh.
So I presume that meant whether God would do your bidding.
Yes. And like our own elections now, we're recording this before the election,
Right.
and I believe it will be aired before the election.
Mm-hmm.
There are liberals and conservatives, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On the one side, you have Stanley Tucci playing a cardinal,
Yeah.
who's liberal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he wants the church to keep progressing, and then another cardinal wants to take it back another 60 years.
Is that the one played by John Lithgow, do you think?
No, it's the Italian one.
Okay, it's the Italian one.
It's
Okay.
the Italian guy. John Lithgow is kind of non-described other than he's accused of things.
Yeah, well,
But the Italian Pope wants it to go back to being, or the Italian Cardinal wants it to go back to being what he calls Italian and its origins. He thinks that the Pope should be Italian and that should go back to doing it in Latin, all the liturgy in Latin, and I presume, you know, somehow throw women under the boat in that process.
Yeah, you think?
Probably. Just guessing.
One of my major complaints with the Catholic Church is its unwillingness to allow women to elevate beyond just being servants.
And that they show women being servants very clearly in the movie. They are the maids, they are the cooks, they are pretty much irrelevant other than their service they provide. Although I gotta say, I was shocked because to me, the sexism in the church was the entire theme of the movie, and I didn't feel like it was even barely brought up.
It wasn't. It was one of the themes for sure. Now, when they bring in Isabella Rossellini to play Sister Agnes, they're going for serious stuff.
Yeah, for 4 seconds. Yeah.
And that is true. And she flat out says, look, we're not supposed to be talking.
Yes.
We're just supposed to do our job. But she says, sometimes I have to talk. I have a mouth, too.
Yes. So yes, they did mention that women did exist in the Catholic Church. You're right.
And yeah, I think you're right. Although the film tries to underplay it, it's just, the sexism is just so obvious.
Well, and I think it is the major theme of the movie because it's kind of, without saying how it lands, you know, that should have been a bigger talking point to me.
Oh, yeah. We know that they do select a pope finally.
Yes.
You know, and,
yes.
One of the interesting things besides the sexism, which I'd like to come back to just a little bit, here is the thriller aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we don't know who is going to be selected.
Nor do we know who's good or who's bad. I mean, there's a lot of implications
Oh, yeah.
of different people, and you're not quite sure who should be the Pope.
Yeah, but our leads, that would be Fiennes and Tucci's characters,
Mm-hmm.
seem to identify Tremblay as the enemy.
No, I thought that was the Italian guy. that
Okay,
didn't
you're still
want.
not going back.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep
Yeah.
thinking that Lithgow just has things in his background.
Yes, he has secrets.
Yes.
And they're all, do you uncover the secret if you want that person to be the Pope, or do you let it lie?
Boy, a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And Fiennes does a super job of being just disconcerted
Right.
about that.
Right.
And he has a little bit about doubt too,
Yeah.
if you could do a little bit later.
Well, often we think it's justified if somebody agrees with us,
Yeah.
and not justified if they don't agree with us.
Well, Mindy Mcfann, I believe we have more to say about
Yes.
the film.
Yes.
And I will, of course, have more to say about the Catholic Church. But at this point, what is your advice to an audience?
It's a good movie. I mean, it's a nice thriller, low key. I went with somebody who's not a big movie person, and they really enjoyed it.
Great.
So yeah, I think it's
Oh,
a
good.
worthwhile see.
And I'll tell you, it's rare that I get to see a PG movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I don't know when I've last seen a G movie. It must be an animation somewhere.
I would imagine.
but PG.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. You could bring anybody you want to this.
Absolutely.
It'd be fun to bring somebody who is a doubter,
Mm-hmm.
and there would be great conversation.
It's a good conversation movie, you're right.
It's movie time with John DeSando and his friends online. So everything is gonna be just fine. From the top down to the bottom. He's gonna let you know if you should stay home or if you should go. Might even yell if it's a spectacle. From San Francisco to